Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here talking with Brother Murray. He used to work in the prison system, and we're exploring the conditions and the happenings that take place in the prison. We're hoping that there might be some young person listening, and our aim is to cause that person to really realize what's happening in the prison system. It's not somewhere you would want to end up. So welcome back to Positive Plug and Brother Murray. There are so many questions that I want to ask you. Let me ask, you talk about not being able to go to McDonald's. Yeah. So what was the food like in prison? Could I get a steak? Could I get a hot dog? Could I get a sloppy joe? What was the food like?
Well, the first few months, the food was like, how can anybody eat this? It is disgusting. It looks nasty. Except for holidays. Holidays, they would try and give the inmates nice food, like chicken with bones in it, or like like soul food or something like that. Because holidays are the hardest times for inmates because they're not home for Christmas or they're not home for Easter. They can't like spend New Year's Eve with their family. They're in the cell, and it's hard. And they're watching TV or they're seeing everybody else enjoying themselves, and they're like forced to see the results of their actions or the consequences. I have to sit in here and I have to suffer and I can't be with my family. Mm-hmm. So it's hard. So the food would be good around the holidays, but any other time, horrific. I mean, it's like, why is my hot dog purple? It was just different colors. It was just disgusting. And that's another thing when you're in the prison and you're an officer and you're working and you're doing 12-hour days and you're coming in 5-6 days a week. You gotta understand, you spend a majority of your time in a prison. So after a while, you're like, I'm hungry. I didn't pack a lunch. I guess I'm gonna try this 1 or 2 times. So you start eating the food, and when you realize it's free, and you start getting used to it, you become state raised, as they put it, or state fed. You start, I guess I can taste the purple hot dogs today, or the chicken lemon rice isn't that bad. It's pretty good.
Why was the hot dog purple?
No clue. No clue. It was like different colors. It was like, yeah, I'm not eating that. The food was pretty bad.
You think it may have been bad food?
Bad food, or just poorly put together, or just like cheap. I mean, one thing that from my own perspective, is like they didn't invest a lot of money in the food.
What do you think is the hardest thing that an inmate had to deal with from any given day?
Well, I think there's a few like hard points. Like the first time you actually go in your cell and they close the door and you realize you can't leave that room. I think that's one of the hardest things to deal with. Like being confined. Like people out there, I send you this example: go in a room and close your door and don't leave out because you can't, or just like let somebody lock you in a room until they decide to let you out. It's a horrible feeling. I can't leave until you allow me to leave. It's a horrible feeling. That's one of the hardest things to deal with. And 2 is when you finally realize that like you're missing everything. You feel like the whole world is going ahead without you. And when your family doesn't come visit you, that's like the main concern. Like nobody goes to visit you because life goes on and we still have things to do and you're locked up. So you just feel like you're missing out on life.
You spoke to the violence and the cuttings and the slammings that happens. Have you ever witnessed suicide, or was there ever such thing while you was in the system?
I've never seen any suicides, but I've seen people cut themselves trying to kill themselves. Luckily, we were able to save them, but it happens all the time.
Back to something you stated earlier, when I asked whether or not you had whether you knew anybody that was incarcerated.
Right.
You said yes, and you mentioned what really grabbed me from what you said. One person was incarcerated for 100 and what?
75 years.
175 years. What was behind that? What did that person do to end up getting 175 years?
It was actually my brother. So, yeah, he
your brother?
Yeah, my oldest brother, 175 years. He a string of armed robberies, and they didn't run him concurrent, so he got like all the charges and he was a repeat offender because he was out on parole. So the judge threw the book at him.
Are there others like him that you know of, or?
Oh yeah, I got a few friends. I know people like, oh, he hangs out with a lot of criminals, but that's not the case. It's just when you grew up in a rough environment, a lot of people don't make it out. So a lot of my friends got incarcerated. I like to look at myself as the last Mohican because everybody that I grew up with actually is either in jail, just got out of jail, or in the grave. So we definitely grew up rough, but yeah.
Have you ever been incarcerated?
Never been incarcerated.
And why you think that is? If you're saying that you're the last Mohican.
Last of the Mohicans, yeah.
Right. So that means practically all your buddies are in the system.
Right.
Why you think you think you're special? What you think? What can you speak to? Why you think you're not there?
Well, I say my grandmother prayed for me, one, so I definitely...
That works.
Yeah, grandmother prayed for me. But I believe in life, everybody has a decision. Like, you can let your childhood or the way you grew up or things hinder you, and you can hide behind that. Or my mom didn't love me, my father didn't hug me, or I was abused, I was molested, I was raped. You can let that hinder you, and you can let it hold you back. Or you can make a conscious decision to say, I know what I came from is horrible, but I decide to make things better. I'm not going to steal, I'm not going to kill, I'm not going to do things that will land me in a prison or somebody's cell. I'm going to make things better. And if not, I'm going to die trying to make them better legally. Because a lot of people think you can come up quick because, oh, he was a drug dealer, I can make money, or I can go out and rob people. But statistics show that the majority of the people either die or go to jail. And this is not a gamble I'm willing to take.
You spent 2 years plus, I think?
Yeah, it was about 2 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty much all I can stomach.
What are the ratio in prison? I hear in the news media and different sources talking about the percentage of blacks that are in prison as opposed to whites. Can you speak to that? What was the ratio like in your facility?
Oh, black men and women are going to jail at an alarming rate. I think I read a statistic the other day. They did a study, and say, for instance, it's about 2 million people in jail. It has to be like close to 900,000 of them are black. Or, no, I'm sorry, 1.2 million of them are black, and 900,000 of them are black men out of 2 million people. So that's including white, black, Asian, Puerto Rican, all the races, but the majority of them are black.
Have you seen anything or heard or know of anything that could speak to why the percentage is that large in the African American community?
I mean, there's so many different factors that play into it. Like, I think black men and women are set up to fail. The way the system is set up is against us. It's like against all odds. You know, if you make it out, you're a survivor. If not, you go into prison. But all the way back to slavery days, it's just a trickle-down effect. I think it's just spilling over, but I still believe that we as a people can overcome that. We can still rise above, because when it comes to crime, you still have to decide to do it, not just decide not to.
I'm going to ask you this question that I have had for some time now. I'm reading a book on the subject, and sometime down the road, I think I might be doing a lecture on it. But were you a participant in a student loan while you went to school?
Unfortunately, I was.
No. Well, I think it's one of the most unfortunate things that really could happen to any young person in the school system. What do you feel? What can you speak to? Is it a just system? Is it just speak on it? What do you think?
I mean, it's a gift and a curse, because without financial aid, a lot of people wouldn't be able to go to college. You wouldn't be able to get an education. However, paying it back, oh my goodness, it's a lot of money. But like that, even with that is the decision. You don't have to take financial aid. But some people, like my case, it was the only way I was going to school, because it was like astronomical to pay for school.
Okay.
Especially to the level of education that I went to. So it was pretty hard.
I want to come back to the level of education and the tail end of our discussion. But I want to ask you this question, and then we'll go to a break. Um, what was the sexual tone like in prison? Because it is said that most of the men that are in prison become homosexuals. Have you seen that? And if so, what you think? Why you think it is? And have you seen any men that stood up against it?
Well, homosexuality runs rampant, and and especially in the prisons, my prison specifically. Um, a lot of people think like, oh, getting raped. Now, rape does occur in prisons, but a lot of the people who are engaging in sexual activities in the prison are willing participants. They call it state gay. Now, state gay. That's what the inmates refer to it as.
State gay.
State gay. Yeah, you in prison, state gay.
Right.
You figure you in a cell. You've been in prison for 5 years, 6 years. You tend to forget what the feel or the crest of a woman feels like, or a man for that, because women get locked up too. But you start missing the touch and the feel, and you start yearning for some type of human affection or like skin to skin contact. But the only thing is no women available. It's only men. And there are a lot of men in the prison who like dress like women, like tight clothing, or like they roll their shirts up, or they let the hair grow really long and have braids, so they look like women. And after a while, your mind starts playing tricks on you. I say an alarming rate of men in the prison were actually state gay, as they put it. So while they're incarcerated, I used to talk to the inmates all the time. They say, we do what we got to do while we're incarcerated, but when we get out, we go back to normal.
Do you believe that?
No, I think after you do, it takes, what, 30 days to form a habit, and you figure you've been doing this for 3-4 years. You can't just break that habit just like that. You created a monster inside of you, and you fed it over the last 4 years. It just can't go away like that. I mean, anything is possible, but if I had to put my money on it, I would bet that it wouldn't just go away. So a lot of men were, like, state gay, a lot of homosexuality. Now, I will say this. Anybody incarcerated 1 to 4 years, they can hold out. But anything 5 to 6 years and up, state gay.
All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, I want to give you this question before we take the break. Do you believe the way the prison is set up now, when we talk about the ratio of so many black men or black or Hispanic that are being incarcerated at an alarming rate more than whites, do you believe that that is a form of organized slavery? I want you to think on that and answer that when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.